Okay, so I had a little bit of shaping and forming to do on the underside of the pump, but now I'm getting ready. Everything is in. Now I got to make sure everything is going to fit in the transom. So I'm going to spin the phone around and show you what I'm talking about here. These holes are for your reverse actuator and your steering arm that come out of here, as well as I got a bunch of rivet holes that I'm probably not going to be reusing. So I got to clean up this whole area here. First of all, I'm going to go put the mid and the rear section on here and make sure that these holes, I might be able to fill some of these in a little bit. I just got to clean up this transom and make sure that I get everything right and lined up before I think about gluing this in. So as soon as that transom is cleaned up and we're ready to go, then this pump is ready to essentially final secure and glue double bolted all the way down in there. So I'm going to throw on the mid and the rear sections, get those arms lined up, and start cleaning up this transom. Well, I got this all together and I just got a couple rivets kind of holding it in here, and lo and behold, the rivet holes matched up with the old one, with the old pump ring. And the steering, well, you can see here's what I'm working with right here. I got to make sure that these things are nice and clearing with no issues. When I go, what direction would that be? That'd be full right turn. I am getting really close to there, if not touching. By the time you put that rubber bellow around there, that's going to cause an issue. So that's not exactly right where it needs to be. I hooked up the reverse to run it, and you can see that that thing, here it goes on the, that thing is rubbing on that ring almost the entire way down. And right there, it's kind of rubbing. So unfortunately, that means that I can't really use these same mounting holes. So I'm going to have to pull this thing back out, get this ring where it needs to be, and fill all these rivets. Actually, that's not going to be a big deal, but I essentially need to rotate this ring around so that these things are perfectly centered on these holes so that they're absolutely free. It's just more work, not a ton, but it's just one of those things where, man, I wish it would have worked the first time. But anyway, I'll get to tearing it back down, clearing out this glue off of here, and work on getting this thing rotated to where it needs to be. Bummer. Well, I think I got everything lined out here. The steering, nice and clean, clear. The reverse bucket, that thing is, man, I couldn't get it exactly right, but it's because it is kind of touching, but we got full throw now. And yeah, it doesn't touch, but it comes really, really close up at the top. But something I just found out that was cool that I didn't know that was coming with this Southern Jet is they have an indicator here. See if I can do all this with one hand. So the electric reverse, when you have a handle for your reverse, you know exactly where the reverse bucket is by how hard you pull the handle. Kind of makes sense. But when you're coming out on the boat trailer and you're doing electric reverse, you don't know how far down that thing is. So I always just have a mental clock. I got about 3 to 4 seconds. Hold that to get it all the way down. When I back off the trailer and going back out to start, I hold it up for, I count about 5 potatoes to make sure that that thing is fully up. Well, look at what Southern Jet did. They put some sort of a potentiometer. I don't know if I can do this. Let me try to do this. They got a potentiometer in the actuator with a gauge. So now look, when this thing goes down, that's pretty dang cool. So all greens mean your bucket is all the way down. You're going to be throwing a spray if you're backing off the trailer. And when you come up, that thing's pretty dang cool. I'm super stoked about that. It's a new addition. This is the first one of these Southern Jet pumps that I've seen that have this. Looks pretty waterproof, and just a little bracket there you can mount up on your dash, so nice and visible. I'm pretty stoked about that. I hope the other pumps are going to be coming with the same thing. But anyway, I'm going to rip all this apart back now, start trimming and cutting all this stuff out, get this all cleaned up, and we're getting closer. My goal is to get this pump glued and bolted in here today. We'll see if I can get that done. Well, I got all the trim ring shaped and cut out. There's a bazillion holes. I'm going to just go ahead and hit those with the welder really quick. I don't probably need to do that because those are going to get covered up by the rubber sheet. It's just driving me nuts. There's too many holes in this thing. So I'm going to clean it up. I also need to repair some of the holes around where the arms go out. So I got those little pieces cut, and I'm going to spin the phone around, show you how I do that. I'm going to start from the inside of the boat. This is just plate steel that I use to clamp against this. This is really thin. The transom is pretty thin. So I'm going to go ahead and just use that steel plate to go and start, those are the little pieces that I cut out to reshape these holes. Now I'm using that steel as a heat sink back there, so I'm going to go touch those holes with the welder and then reclamp it, hit those ones and fill all those in. There's just a million little holes. And even with just those tiny little tacks essentially, you can still warp that plate. So having that steel plate behind there is going to help kind of hold the transom all nice and flat and straight anyway. So I'll spin the phone around, do some speed stuff here as I start to tack all those holes up. All in here. So clean this thing up. Got the the ring in here. I drilled a couple holes for it, but what we got is this whole thing is all nice and filled in. This is where the circles are back to being round, and the inside of it looks way better. So I just drilled a couple holes for the actual mount. So now the job is to, this thing is getting super close, but I don't think I'm gonna glue it in today. What I am gonna do is take the time to clean up all this stuff, because this whole back port of the boat, it will never be as clean as you can get it without the pump in there. So I'm gonna take some time, pull all this stuff back out. You can see the kind of the routine here. Put it in, pull it out. Put it in, pull it out. I've probably done this 100 times already. So pull everything out here, get all my tools, clean up the boat, clean all this rear section up, because like I said, it's not gonna get any cleaner than it is right now, or it's gonna be, and it is filthy right now. So I wanna get all this stuff ready, and we will we'll think about gluing it in here to tomorrow. I think we'll see. I'll see how long it takes me to clean this stuff up. Might contemplate it, getting it in here tonight. We are all set to glue this thing in. Got the pump block in, everything's nice and fitting good. I got the whole transom all cleaned up and kind of re-welded some of those holes, ready for the pump ring to go on it, inside and outside, so we can get a nice seal, and we are all set. This thing probably took a little bit longer than normal due to the fact that it was drilled out with the old pump in there. And it was a 9-inch pump. This is a completely different housing, so it took a little bit longer than normal to get this thing in here cleaned up, so it's gonna go in there well. So I'm gonna end this video here. Next video, I'm actually gonna glue this thing in, get it glued, get it, what was it, 17 bolts holding that thing in, and you'll see that whole process. That should go pretty quick. Knock on wood, they never go as quick as I think they're going to, but nonetheless, by the way, I do appreciate everybody watching these videos. If YouTube is it perplexes me. Sometimes I get a lot of views, sometimes it doesn't. I know there's a lot about the thumbnails and the title of the videos and the click-through. There's so much stuff that I'm trying to figure out, and I just haven't figured it out yet. I thought the little mini boat video was going to take off pretty good because it was a fun day. I thought it was good content, but it didn't go anywhere. So anyway, I guess it's still all just fun for me. I'm enjoying it, but I do appreciate everybody watching these things, subscribing if you feel like it, hit that like button if you do enjoy the video and the content. Let me know in the comments down below. We'll catch you next time, as this thing's gonna get glued in there.